Hello everyone, and welcome to this video featuring all that's new on the LAX Automated People Mover train. We'll look at all that's new for the month of March here on Tiger Rail Fan. Before we get straight into the video, let's look at the route we're going to be following today. We'll be following our normal route starting inside the airport, making our way west, all the way towards the Tom Bradley International Terminal, before taking a brief look at the LAX Metro Transit Center. So let's get started atop parking structure P1 on level 4 to take a look at the Terminal East Station, servicing Terminals 1, 7, and 8, or Southwest and United. The terminal building is located directly in front of us, and on initial sight, we can't see anything exactly new here. But trust me, at the next station and some little details here are new. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we can see. The structure generally looks really nice. It is very clean. There's not much masking tape present here opposed to some of the other stops that we see. And in general, it looks ready to open. There are elevators, 2 sets actually, but there is no bridge access to Terminal 1 here. Because it's an older bridge that's been abandoned and it doesn't connect directly inside the terminal anymore, we can see that right here. There were plans to build a new bridge from the Terminal East Station into Concourse 0, which is going to be part of Southwest Terminal 1. However, that project has been delayed, and we don't know when it's going to be opening. But it's going to replace the consolidated rental car facility, which is where you would take a shuttle to get ride shares or taxis. That's going to be located just up ahead. Traffic-wise, though, entering the Horseshoe, there really is not much, which is a great sign to see. This video was filmed on a Thursday at approximately noon. Looking at the bridge stub here, which was going to go to Concourse 0, there's not too much in here, but I do appreciate the signage present. This is new here. That was added directly in front of where you would exit the elevators. That way people can get a sense of where they need to go nice and fast. Speaking of the elevators here, they look pretty much complete. They also label the parking structure that we're on and the level. What is interesting is that the walkway for the Automated People Mover line is only slightly higher, only about 7 or 8 steps higher. So there is a door on either side of these new elevators. And that floor is denoted as W for the walkway. But let's head closer to the station and see what other new fixes we can see. It is worth noting that there are going to be moving walkways at several points in the bridges that are going to connect to the terminals, which will help make the rather long walk a little shorter. Just up ahead here, we can see a cell tower here, which is actually for Verizon, so cell service will be really strong if you have that carrier. But looking in that little T intersection, we can't really see anything new. The flight boards are still not installed yet, but their place is ready to go. Looking ahead is the LAX theme building, which is located at the approximate center of LAX. This is also where we notice the track begin to curve, and we'll see the LAX Central Terminal Station pop up next. That air traffic control tower is also located directly next to the Central Terminal Station. So that's a telltale sign of where it is. As a reminder, these stations do use a letter designation. As we just saw, the letter C is for the Terminal East Station. The lettering starts with A at the western end, making it all the way to F at the Consolidated Rental Car Facility. There is no letter D for a potential extra stop along the line. But now we're actually on the floor at the LAX Horseshoe to take a look at some of the bridge structures that we can see here. The APM guideway continues along the theme building to make it towards the Central Terminal Station, and we can see a bridge up ahead, which is one of the great examples of the connectivity that's going to be present between terminals across the Horseshoe. Here we have Terminal 2 connecting Terminal 6 via the station. There's also some new plant life that's been placed up here on the sidewalk, which I think is a great feature, especially because of how much is lacking in terms of gardening at LAX. It'll definitely make it a little bit more pleasant for travelers. Speaking of traffic here, there really is not much at all on either the departure or arrivals level, which is a great sign to see. So if you're looking to get away from the crowds, midweek, middays might be the best way to go. But now let's head to the next stop, atop parking structure P2A. This is where we can see one of the APM Skylink vehicles parked here. A trend has been arising in these videos where we see these vehicles pop up, but we very rarely see them in live testing. Let's see if they end up testing this vehicle while we continue filming along here, since I'll be filming around here for at least another half hour from this point in the video. But a new feature that we also see is lighting along the guideway. It really makes the stations look extra sleek there, especially as the lighting is on with the clouds hurting visibility quite a bit. The lighting inside the vehicles are also on, which is a great sign to see, but their TV displays are not visibly on. But we did see those on in last month's update in February, which you can also take a look at in the link down below to see the history of the construction of these projects. Just up ahead is another terminal bridge, which is going to be connecting terminals 2 and 5. This is also where we'll see some construction workers that appear to be working on that moving walkway located towards the center of the bridge. It is worth noting that terminals 2 and 3 serve the same airline and are pretty much connected, utilizing the same security checkpoint. So if you do miss your stop and end up at Terminal 3, which will connect to the Terminal West station, it's not that big of a deal. But now let's head towards parking structure P2B, which is located in between the LAX Central Terminal Station and the Western one. This will provide us a great look at both of those, while also visiting a frequently photographed area that I use for thumbnails, which is located right here. Looking at the other side of the bridge, we can see that they are definitely working on the moving walkway. I haven't seen any of these moving, but it's also really difficult to tell. Maybe we'll see that in the next update, as we seem to be taking baby steps towards opening. I really wish we would see more full testing though, as that is really an indicator of when it might open. As of now, it might end up being more mid to late summer, missing the World Cup. I'm still optimistic though that they can catch up, as a significant portion of the station is complete, and hopefully they are able to catch up on testing as well. But let's now head to the next stop along the line, the LAX West Terminal Station. This is going to be serviced in Terminals 3, 4, and of course, the Tom Bradley International Terminal. Looking up ahead, we can see that the station does pretty much remain the same. It is worth noting though that this station only has one active track where people can board from. But assuming the precision of these automatic vehicles, that should be possible, especially as they intend to run these vehicles every 90 to 120 seconds. So precision would definitely be needed with a one-track terminus. We can still see that vehicle at the central terminal station has not moved. It's really just been parked there for the entirety of the filming of this video. Looking straight ahead though, we can see the elevators, which will take you down towards the walkway level. This is unique as this parking structure does have 5 floors instead of 4, so you actually need to head down slightly towards the 4th floor to access the walkway. That's why you can't really see it above the parking level as we're currently on top of it. But now let's get a closer look at the station. We can see that all of the station lighting remains on, which is a good sign to see. And the elevators are in similar condition to the previous ones we've seen, where they are pretty much complete, ready to go. The lighting above the elevators is working, the signage is installed, but they are pretty much just blocking it off because, of course, the walkway is not open yet, so it can't be accessed. And of course, there are still plenty of other elevators that you can use to reach the crosswalk in order to access Terminal 3. Signage has also been placed up in recent months, leading you towards the various exits of the station and to help with wayfinding. That is one of the things I'm pretty curious about whenever this line opens and we get to take a look. It's how well the wayfinding is. And as we can see by this letter designation, this is the A lettered station, the westernmost on the line. the tracks, as we can see up ahead, physically end. But as you've noticed throughout these videos, all of the stations pretty much carry a very same modern design, which I very much enjoy. But if you haven't already, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more, as only around 21% of those who watch these videos are subscribed. Let's get that number up a little bit more to help share these construction updates with more people. But let's get back to the video. With parking here, we can see that it's not really that busy at all, but the bottom floors were significantly more crowded, with the parking indicating that there's 0 spots available on the 1st and 2nd floor and very few on the 3rd and 4th, with the majority being located up here. But yeah, the station does look pretty much in the same condition that we found it in the last update, which was only a few weeks ago in March. Except there is still some scaffolding around that inner corner, which needs some more painting and touch-ups to do. But we're now looking at the Tom Bradley International Terminal and the bridge connection on the far left-hand corner of the frame. Anyways, we are now at the 3rd floor, which provides a crossing over the departures level into the Tom Bradley International Terminal. Just to my left-hand side, you can see the bridge which will connect you from the station into the LAX terminal. Additionally, we can see that there's a lot of space down below in addition to some more wayfinding. So I'm curious to see if they're going to facilitate an entrance from the arrivals level, which in my opinion would definitely be a no-brainer. That'll provide easy access for those who are just arriving from customs and giving them a convenient way to get to the station. They would just go up the elevator once they arrive inside the station complex. But they do have a very large sign which we saw testing previously. It's not currently on, but in the January episode, I believe, it was displaying weather. So it is definitely working in proper order. I do love the modern glass structure around it as well. It provides a nice unique feel to it that we don't see at the other stations because of the terminal nature of this one. There's a moving walkway in the center of it as well, and the entrance to the Tom Bradley International Terminal is actually blocked off by some construction barricades. We'll take a look inside in just a second to see if there were any adjustments made to the entrance area. We'll also take a look at the check-in area and how you can get between the levels here. But let's go ahead and cross the street, where there's also some construction happening on my right-hand side with the terminal itself. The international terminal here is actually undergoing quite a few modernization projects here, which are going to help enable more shopping and dining inside the terminal. We'll get more of an in-depth look at that once we get inside. But here we are now in the absolutely massive check-in hall at LAX. This has to be one of the biggest terminals in the Southern California area in terms of square footage and open air space here. The terminal here spans several open floors with elevators on the left-hand side, several which of them go up towards the 4th floor, which is also an alternate security entrance, and it'll serve as the entrance to the Skylink station. There are also escalators behind these elevators, which we're going to take a look at here, but they're actually out of service for some construction. And you actually can't take them down to the 1st floor either, but luckily there are plenty of elevators to help cope with this change in demand for transitioning between floors. Unfortunately, the APM line is not yet on the signage, but I hope it is added shortly after the line opens. That would certainly be something that I would hope for. Conveniently, on the 4th floor is also the mobility assistance area, which is where you can transition into an airport-issued wheelchair that you can take through an airplane. That'll provide a really convenient link between the Skylink train and that spot. But here we are in one of the elevators, which is very large for luggage, and it's very clean as well. Unlike some LA Metro elevators, but they are definitely getting better when it comes to that. For level 4, there is still no signage mentioning the Skylink line or automated People Mover train, but again, hopefully that's added later. My guess is that they're just waiting to change the signage because the line is not yet open and they don't want to confuse anyone thinking it might be open. But here we are now at the entrance plaza to the terminal here, which opens up into a 2-story tall open air area. And as I mentioned before, I think it is a really good example of LAX planning ahead for a transit link. There's also this bust of Tom Bradley, who was the first African-American mayor in Los Angeles. It is amazing how they respect him with that bust right in front of the entrance. And if you just turn to your left here, you'll find the mobility assistance area. We'll also find the escalators, but both of them were not working at the time of filming here on March 26th. But we can still walk down them, back to the check-in area. Most shuttles do depart on the arrivals level, but if you are taking some of the parking shuttles or private companies, they do sometimes depart at the departures level, which was just on the right-hand side. So you always want to confirm where you're heading out. But actually, there was no escalator open going downwards due to the construction. It was all barricaded off with those white walls. So we'll need to take the elevators down again, but as you can see, it's really not that inconvenient, and there's really little to no wait for an elevator. It actually might be more convenient, especially for people who have checked luggage. But heading back to the elevators here, we'll be heading down towards level 1, which is also where you can get the current shuttles to the LAX Metro Transit Center. You'll also be able to get to the economy parking lot, as well as several other employee parking shuttles. The terminal connector also stops here, and I am curious to see what they are going to do with those bus services once the Skylink train opens. My guess is that they're going to remove the LAX Metro Transit Center shuttle, obviously, the economy parking lot shuttle, but they'll probably keep the terminal connector in my opinion. But we'll see what they do. And they'll also probably keep the employee shuttles, obviously. But yeah, there's a lot of construction going on at the arrivals level as well, with a significant portion of it being blocked off as we just saw. But there's no construction once we turn left and start heading out towards the exit. Shuttle pickup locations are designated by color. Most of the shuttles stop at the pink pillars. But if you're heading to the LA exit facility, you'll want to look for the green pillars, and the LAX Flyway bus will be the blue ones. You can see some of those buses coming by now. But now let's head out towards the LAX Metro Transit Center to get a brief look at the line there. We'll take a look and see if there's any test trains, in addition to construction happening across Aviation Boulevard at the pickup and drop-off areas for both shuttles and cars. So let's go ahead and take a look. We're now on board the C line that has freshly departed the LAX Metro Transit Center heading south. We can see there is still a automated people mover line vehicle parked there at the south side of the LAX Metro Transit Center station. So there are 2 vehicles parked, but none of them are moving in today's video. We can see that that sea of concrete is going to be a shuttle drop-off and pickup, in addition to a cell phone waiting lot and a regular private vehicle pickup and drop-off. So you'll be able to do that over there, and there is a dedicated entrance for the station on the east side of Aviation Boulevard, so you won't need to cross any streets, and you won't need to head through any of the metro parts of the station. But that is going to conclude it for this construction update. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more, so you see more of these monthly construction updates. Recently, some of them have been bi-monthly, 2 times a month. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're as excited for this line to open as I am, and I will see you in the next one. I also would like to extend a special thank you to the channel members who continue supporting the channel. Thank you very much.